Okay, good morning class. You guys had some homework? Okay. So we're wrapping up the chapter today. Since we have done many of these sections or subsections in the first term, so that allows us to have moved so quickly through this chapter. Okay. So yesterday we answered the first half of the worksheet or the exercise. In for homework you had number 14, the even numbers, and number 15.2, 4 and 5. So what I'm going to do today is I'm just going to, since there was lots of confusion with regards to this exercise, so I'm going to do the calculations as well. Okay. So instead of only reading out the answers, I'm going to do the calculation as well, as needed. Okay. Again, I'm only going to do the even numbers, because yesterday we spoke about the odd numbers and the issues you had. Okay. This is exercise 1. It's on page 7. It started on page 7. I know this part of the exercise is on page 8. Okay, so we're going to do whatever's on the board first, and thereafter I will cut the next part. Okay. Again, the even numbers only. So the first answer is just put the light off. Can you all see? Alright. So the even numbers, the first answer is going to be 60. The square root of 36 is going to be 6. So the square root of 3,600 is 60. Okay, so 60 times 60 is 3,600. Any confusion there? No? Number 4, the cube root of 8. That is 2. You all okay with that, no? Yes. Who doesn't understand? You know, 2 cube is 8 and the cube root of 8 is 2. For number 6, the square root of 49 is 7. Plus the square root of 36 is 6. 7 plus 6 is 13. Number 8, the square root of 100 is 10. The cube root of 27 is 3. What's 10 times 3? Okay. Any confusion? Just let me know if you're confused, and I'll try and explain to you. Okay. I know there's number 14.10 and 14.12 and so on. I'm just doing what I've cut so far. Okay. I'll do that afterwards. So 14.6. So the square root of 9 is 3, so it's 3 times 4 minus 2 times square root of 16 is? What's the square root of 16? 4. So 4 times 3 is 12 minus 8. 12 minus 8 is 4. Okay. Any confusion there? Send it down. Thank you. 14.18. What's the cube root of 125? 5. So it's going to be 2 times 5. And what's 2 times 5? 14.20. What's the square root of 144? 12. So it's 12 divided by 4. 12 divided by 4 is 3. Note that the square root is not over the 4. So I'm not going to take the square root of 4. Does it make sense? If it was the square root of 144 over 4, then that would have been 12 over 2. You understand? Which is 6. But since that square root is not over the denominator, which is over 4, I'm not going to take the square root of it. Does it make sense? Okay. Number 14.22. Can I say that is going to be 10 minus 6? So the square root of 100 is 10 and the square root of 36 is 6? No. Whenever there's a plus or minus under that root, you must first simplify it. Okay? So if you are a student or a learner who has made that mistake, make a note next to the sum. If there's a plus or minus under the root, you must first simplify first simplify. Okay? It has to be one term under the root. Okay, a plus or minus. So what needs to be done first is, what is 100 minus 36? 60. What's the square root of 64? So 8 is the correct answer then. Which phone is that? You're trying. Okay. 14.22. The square root of 36?
6.
The square root of 4?
2.
Plus the cube root of 27?
3.
Minus the square root of 1? According to BODMAS, that must be done first. So 6 times 2 is? Plus 3 minus 1. That is 12 plus 3? 15. Minus 1? Okay. Any confusion there? 14.10. Can I take the square root of 3 and 4 there? No? What do I need to do first? Simplify. Okay, whenever there's a plus or minus between, I must simplify first. So that is going to give the square root of 3 squared is 9 plus 16. What's 9 plus 16? 25. What's the square root of 25? Who got that one right? Or did you take the square root first?
I didn't simplify.
You didn't simplify. You did the homework.
Yes.
You didn't do the homework.
I didn't do this part because I was confused with the
How do we expect to do that in the maths exam? $14.2. What's the square root of 25? 5. Can I take the square root of each one here? Yes. Why? Because there's no plus or minus between. You could have multiplied 25 by 4, which gives you 100, and 100 times 36 is 3,600, and the square root of 3,600 is 60. Okay? But because it's multiplication or in its division, you can take the square roots of it, of each number. Square root of 25 is 5. Square root of 4 is 2. Square root of 36 is 6. So 2 times 5 is, and 10 times 6 is 60. Okay? So make a note there, if it's multiplication or division, you can take the square roots of the numbers. You don't have to simplify first. Right? The same thing. Okay, what is the square root of 81? 9. But you see, I've used the first, the inner square root. So it's going to be the square root of 9. Can you see that? What's the square root of 9? So the answer is 3. Who got that one right? Okay. So most of you understood. The next one. What is the square root of 3 all squared? Square root of 3 all squared. So in other words, the square root of 3 squared is going to be the square root of 3 times the square root of 3. Not so? What's the square root of 3 times the square root of 3? Square root of 9. What's the square root of 9? 3. So the square root of 3 squared. You see that square root cancel that square. So what is the square root of 3 squared? 3. What is the square root of 5 squared? 5. And 3 plus 5 is? You understand? Look at it this way. What is the square root of 4 squared? What's the square root of 4? 2. Square root of 4 is 2. And is 2 squared is? See, the square root is being squared. It will cancel each other. Can you see that? It's the reverse of each other. You guys understand? So what is the square root of 7 squared? 7. What's the square root of 7 squared again? Square root of 49, which is? 7. Can you see that, people? So, if you look at what is 1 cubed? Oh no, don't take 1. 1 is... What is 2 cubed? 8. What's the cube root of 8? 2. What's the cube root of 8? Sorry, what is the cube root of 8 cubed? What is the cube root of 8? What is the cube root of 8? 2. And 2 cubed? So the cube root and the cube will cancel. The square root and the square will cancel. You guys understand? Okay. So what would the cube root of 10 cube be? 10. What's the cube root of 12 cube? 12. What is the cube root of x cubed? X. What is the square root of y squared? You guys understand? The square root cancels the square. The cube root cancels the cube. That's it. Okay. So that the square root of 3 squared is 3, the square root of 5 squared is 5, which gives us. Now coming back to this one, I'll write it at the bottom. 14.30. What is the square root of 9? 3. So it's 4 times 3. Not so. Plus the square root of 36? 6. So it's 6 divided by? You all understand? Yes, Michael.
So in the test, must you write a dot?
You can write the dot, you can write the times, you can write the word multiply, anything. Okay, it's all acceptable. What would you like to write?
Multiplication sign.
No problem, you write the multiplication. Okay. So what is 4 times 3? 12. 6 divided by 2? 12 plus 3? Okay, who got that one right? It's fairly simple. What confused you guys here, for those of you who did it and got it wrong? Girl, yeah? The 4. The 4 and by the root. You must remember that if you write 4 root 9, that is actually 4 times the square root of 9. You see that? Here the same story. That is 2 times the square root of 3 squared, in other words. Later on you're going to see 2 times x can be written as 2x. You understand? We tend not to write the multiplication. Algebraic expressions, yes. You understand? We'll get there soon. Let's look at 14.28. 14.28. Oh, I didn't need to do that. The square root of 27 times 24 times 50. Now, the rule that we said earlier on, if it's multiplication or division, we can take, we don't have to simplify. Not so. And if you look at 27 times 24 times 50 is a fairly large number. Okay? So it's either multiply it out and see what I get. Then who multiplied it out? Right, what did you get?
32,400.
So you're saying 32,400? The square root thereof? 180. Did you use a calculator? Ladder method. Okay, nice. But look at this way. Let's look at 27. What perfect square goes into 27? Perfect squares are 1. It's not going to make a difference. 4. The next perfect square is what? 1, 4. 9. 16. 5 squared, 25. 6 squared, 36, and so on. What is the largest perfect square that goes into 27? 9. So that is going to be 9 times 3. So 9 is a perfect square. Not so? Times. The largest perfect square that goes into 24. 4 times 6. Not so? So it's 4. 4 times 6. And 6 is the same as 3 times 2. Not so? The square root of 50. The largest perfect square goes into 50. 25. And it's 25 times 2. So in other words, 9 is a perfect square. 4 is a perfect square. And 25. Not so? And what's 3 times 3? 9. And 2 times 2? 4. So in other words, this could have been written as the square root of 9 times. What's 3 times 3? 9. Which is also a perfect square. Times 4. Times 2 times 2? 4. Times 25. What's the square root of 9? 3. Square root of 9? 3. Square root of 4? 2. Square root of 4? Square root of 25? So that's going to give you 9. 18. That's going to give you 10. It's going to give you 180. Okay? It's another way of looking at the same thing. If you had gone with ladder method, full marks. Okay. Yes, Michael?
Do we have extra classes today for men?
Yes. Every Monday, every Wednesday, every Thursday. Did I say Wednesday? No. Monday, every Tuesday, did I say Wednesday? Sorry, my mistake. Every Monday, every Tuesday, every Thursday. From 3 till 4. You can come all 3 days, you can come one of the 2 days, you can come 2 of the 3. Doesn't matter. We're starting today with the lessons, okay? Yes.
On Tuesday when you
Sorry?
On Tuesday. Yes.
I just said no.
Monday.
Oh, Monday? Tuesday? Thursday. That passed. Did you go to Mr. Baba? So now, Tuesday's passed. Why are you asking about Tuesday?
So I'm asking if there was.
There was, yes. Did you go? No. So why you ask? Doesn't make sense. You just want to talk to me. Nice, nice. I feel the same. I just want to talk to you. Right, you guys understand?
Yes, sir.
So when your parent come and you say, you know, my child did bad and all. I say, your child go to the maths extra lessons. No. So? No, that's true. If you're not making the effort, then how do you expect to do well? You must remember, maths is not a subject like other subjects, okay? Like I know some of the subjects you can figure it out in the exam, no? But maths, if you don't know it going into the exam, you're not going to figure it out. Okay? Sorry? You have? Topics.
12 weeks.
12 weeks before you write exams. Okay. Okay. 9 weeks, so you got 2 months. Right, so at this point, they ask you to simplify the following by first expressing each number as products of its prime factors. We've done we've done the numbers dealing with the square roots, and then for homework I gave you the ones dealing with the cube roots. Not so? Okay. So let's look at the first one. So that 15.2 you have to. So it's the cube root of. So you got 13824. What's the largest the largest prime number the smallest prime number? We always start on the smallest number. Okay. So 2 goes? 2 goes?
3,456.
2 goes?
1,728.
2 goes?
864.
2 goes?
432.
2 goes?
216.
2?
188.
2?
54.
2?
27.
3?
9.
3? Remember, this is the one, that's where we stop basically. So in other words, the square root of 13,824 can be written as the square root of 2 to the exponent 6, 7, 8, 9. It's the cube root, isn't it? 2 to the 9 times 3 to the 3. So this here can be written as 2 to the 9 over 3 times 2, 33, 3 over 3. So 9 divided by 3 is 3 times 3 to the exponent What is 2 cubed? 8. 8 times 3 is? Who got that one right? Where'd you go wrong?
I wrote the number down wrong, sir.
The number.
No, I wrote 3,824 instead of 30,000.
So it didn't work out for you.
No.
So if that happens in the exam, just make sure you have written the sum down right. Okay? So that is a common made error also. We learned like the wrong thing down from the page. Okay? Any confusion here for those of you who did it this way? Are you all okay? Let's look at 15.4. So it's 3375. 2 can't go. 3 goes. 1, 1. 2, 5. 3 goes. 3 goes. 3 can't go any longer. So you go 5. 5 goes 25 times. 5 goes 5 times. 5 goes. So the cube root of 3375 can be written as the cube root of 3 cubed times 5 cubed, which is 3 over 3 times 5, 3 over 3. The denominator is the roots. That is it. Okay? So it's going to be 3. What's 3 over 3? 5. 3 over 3? 3 times 5 is? Yes, Michael. Give her a round of applause. Full mark. So you might have mixed up the numbers here.
Yeah.
That's fine. Okay. Okay, the last one, 15.4. So 2744. 2 goes 1, 3, 7, 2. 2 goes 6, 8, 6. 2 goes 3, 4, 3. 7 goes 49. 7 goes 7 goes. So the cube root of 2744 can be written as the cube root of 2 cubed times 7 cubed. So it's 2. 3 over 3 times 7, 3 over 3. So it's going to be 2 to the 1 times 7. 2 to the 1 is 2. 7 to the 1 is 7. 2 times 7 is 14. Which means to say 14 times 14 times 14 will give me an answer of 2744. Okay. Yes. Sorry? No, you don't have to write the 1 on top of this. No. You can just write 2 times 7. You don't need that 1 on top. Okay, any other confusion, people? So this basically brings us to the end of the section of work. So later on, before the exams, we will look at past exam papers dealing with the section. Okay. So your new heading is Introduction to Algebra. Yes, I know some of you are waiting patiently for this. Okay, so I'll start a new video.